everybody, Happy New Year, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Lily and Generoso. I'm Lily.
I am Generoso.
And today we're going to make Xiu Mai, which is essentially the meatballs that you get inside of some of the forms of Banh Mi. So we're going to make a couple of the accoutrements that go with the Banh Mi, but the Xiu Mai can be eaten pretty much as a stew, or it can be eaten with some bread or some rice or some vermicelli as well. It's totally your call. I'm just going to make some of the pickled vegetables for the Xiu Mai to put into the bread. So let's look at our ingredient list. It's a bit dense, and so I'm going to try to break it down based on a per component basis. So first and foremost, we have 2 pounds of ground turkey. You can definitely use ground pork. Traditionally it calls for ground pork, but given that we went to the market, the turkey looked a lot fresher than the pork, so we went with turkey this time around. I have 2 shallots. I have a bulb of garlic. I have jicama, and I have 1 carrot. So these are going to be components that are going to go into the actual meatball. For a couple of accoutrements, we have a daikon radish. We're probably only going to use about half of it, and 2 carrots, and then we have cilantro. And I have my handy dandy julienne mandolin, which we're going to use for both the filling and the pickled carrots and daikon radish. And in terms of seasonings, we have a lot of different things. We have fish sauce, crushed red pepper, curry powder, and this is dark soy sauce. You can use a bottled dark soy sauce. This is one that I made on my own pretty much a couple days ago because I was using it for a separate marinade, but essentially it's just soy sauce cooked with some sugar and some 5-spice. It's really super easy, and I believe I actually made it very recently in one of the other episodes, but it's very simple to make. And then I have some sugar, and I have some salt. And then we have oil, which we're going to cook the meat in, and then we have apple vinegar, which I'm going to use to make the pickled carrots and the daikon radish. And then we also have, just for the final serving part, we have some rolls. You can use a baguette. You can use, of course, the correct Vietnamese rolls that you buy at a Vietnamese market. These are Balilla rolls, I believe, that we got, and they're pretty good. They're a little bit airy inside. They're a little firmer than your standard kind of Vietnamese roll, but when toasted up to be served with the Xiu Mai, it'll be really delicious. And this is actually, in terms of cooking, this is actually some of the more simple cooking time recipes because we're really only going to use 1 pan this time around. So there's a lot of prep to be done, and then we'll see you when all the prep is all set. So I have julienne, the jicama, 1 carrot. I've cut up all the garlic and also the shallot as well. So minced the garlic, and then I've kind of just diced the shallot. So now we're going to add the spices to the meatballs. So first, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of curry powder. This is the oriental curry powder that we used for the chicken curry in the past.
Very nice.
Going to add a tablespoon of crushed red pepper. I like crushed red pepper. I don't know, do you like crushed red pepper too?
I put it in almost everything I eat these days because I'm sick. It does kind of wake me up. No, but I love the flavor of crushed red pepper. It's like the perfect amount of heat. It's not as intense as cayenne, but it's more flavorful too in a way.
Then I'm going to add 4 tablespoons. Actually, let's do 5 for good measure because this is turkey. So you need to flavor it a little bit more. Let's do 5 tablespoons of fish sauce. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Wow, it's the most fish sauce I've ever seen you put in a dish.
Yeah, because, you know, it's going to be really important when our meatballs actually do a little bit of cooking. And so now I'm going to add dark soy sauce. So I'm going to give about probably 4 spoonfuls of the dark soy sauce. 3, and then 4.
Great.
And then let's do 1 extra spoonful for good measure. Boop. So what I'm going to do is just going to take my hands and mix this all together. So we'll finish mixing this, and then I will start rolling out a couple. This whole batch could probably make, let's say, about 1.5 inches in diameter, maybe 20 meatballs or so. It's totally dependent on how big you want your meatballs. So we'll shape ours depending on how big Gina and I will do our meatballs. So I'm going to keep mixing this up until everything's nice and incorporated into one paste, and we'll see you very shortly. Now rolling our meatballs. They're a little bit bigger than a golf ball size. So this is number 4 in my hand. I'm going to keep on rolling these all out, and then we're going to give them a fry and then make the sauce for them and let them stew. So we'll see you very soon when we finish all of our meatballs. Alright, so we have finished rolling our meatballs.
They're quite beautiful.
Indeed. These are a little bit bigger. Again, you can roll them a little bit smaller if you'd like as well. So I have plenty of oil on the bottom of this kind of soup base pot. We're going to keep this on pretty much a medium-high flame. Just going to drop the meatballs in. And you want to give them a fry. This will add a little bit of firmness to the meatballs and also start to create the base for our sauce that we're going to stew the meatballs in after we finish frying them all up. So we're going to have to do this in batches, but that is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and fry this up until around the outside is golden brown, take them out, and then put the next batch in. And we will see you when we're ready to start our caramel base. Alright, so we fried up all of our meatballs into a nice golden brown. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add a half a cup of water to the bottom of the pan, which has all of our delicious kind of drippings left. And now I'm going to add 4.5 tablespoons of sugar. And this is going to be the basis of our caramel sauce, which is going to be the basis of the sauce for the meatballs. So I'm going to turn the heat up to about a medium-high. I'm going to take my handy-dandy chopsticks, and I'm going to push the sugar, just so that it's covered by water, and then it also doesn't start burning on the bottom. Basically what we're going to do, like with Thit Kho, we want the sugar to dissolve, and then we want it to turn a nice dark brown amber color and create the basis of a caramelized sauce. So I'm just going to keep stirring this. It's going to dissolve pretty quickly. Make sure to use a utensil to scrape the sugar off of the bottom, because what it's going to want to do is stick, and then you're going to get burned bitter pieces. So it's already starting to get there. Keep stirring. Alright, and so it's already started to turn this nice brown amber color at this point. I'm going to now turn the heat down to a medium-low. I'm going to add our meatballs back in to the sauce.
It smells beautiful. It's a very sweet and savory smell.
It is. The fish sauce will add that really nice savory scent. And now that the meatballs are cooked at least partially, then they're also going to all be able to fit into the bottom, which before they weren't when they were raw.
Yeah, just shrink a little bit.
Yeah. Got one more meatball. And at this point in time, I'm going to add 2 more cups of actual water. So that's 1. And then that's 2. Just so that there's enough liquid coating our meatballs. Just give it a quick little turn and stir. Just because some of the oil is going to come up from the original drippings from the meatball fry. Alright, and now we're just going to take our cover, and the flame has gone out, so we got to turn it back on. I'll put it pretty much at a medium-low. And we're going to monitor this closely, making sure that the liquid doesn't ever get too bubbly and it doesn't start to burn. And we're probably going to let it simmer for about 45 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to start to prepare the pickles that are going to go inside of the sandwich, which is going to be pretty much the same pickling liquid that we use for red onions here and also for other carrots as well. So I'll set the timer and we'll see you when we're ready to make the pickles. So it's been 45 minutes. A lot of the sauce is cooked down. Our meatballs have nicely tightened up. During the last 10 minutes of cooking, just so that the liquid would begin to, specifically the water would begin to evaporate so that the actual kind of like stewing liquid would tighten up, I took the lid off and I turned the heat up to like a medium-high. And so we'll let that cool for just a couple of seconds. In the meantime, I'll also recap what we did with the carrots and the daikon. So I shaved and julienned the carrots and the daikon very thinly, and I put it into a mixture of a cup of vinegar and 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. And it's just been sitting. Pretty simple, super duper simple.
About 45 minutes.
Yep. And so in the meantime, I've also toasted the bolillo rolls, which are nice and fluffy inside. I've gone ahead and put some of the cilantro down. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of the vinegared vegetables. What you want to do is I shave them like noodles for a reason, so that I can shake off some of the vinegar so it doesn't get too much into the bread. And we'll just put this down into our sandwich. You can add as much or as little as you would like. Remember, shake the vinegar off. You don't want the vinegar sopping too much into the bread. You could also add some mayonnaise into the bread and some butter, but given that I kind of just want the meat to shine by itself, I'm only putting the meat in. So our meatballs have cooled for a little bit. And what we're going to do now, just going to take one, put it right on in. One of these bolillo rolls can probably fit about like 1.5 meatballs. Comfortably.
You gonna do some smushing?
Yeah. Alright, so I went ahead and put 2 in this one. What you can do is, because the meatballs are pretty soft, you can just do a little bit of squishing, and then just take your spoon and split it in half, just to give it a little bit of room to be squished. And take some of your liquid as well and add it onto the edge of the bread, because this stewing liquid is really delicious. You want to be able to put some of it onto your bread, because that'll make it nice and tasty and also add contrast to the acidic nature of the veggies inside. And that's it. This is Banh Mi Xiu Mai. Enjoy, and again, the Xiu Mai you can eat with vermicelli, with rice, with bread. You also don't have to make a banh mi. You can totally just cut up some pieces of bread and eat kind of like an open-faced sandwich. Enjoy!